Welcome Jimny fans, it's Jono, your favorite weekend warrior, back again today to talk to you about the recovery boards that I have on my Jimny, the process I went through to decide which recovery boards I was going to buy, and then also how I went about mounting the recovery board to the roof rack, which you can see here is between the two storage boxes that I have on the roof rack. So the purpose of this video is not to go through all the different types of recovery boards that are available, the pros and cons, which one is going to be best for you, or even how to use recovery boards. All I'm going to be doing is sharing how I made my decision, how I went about mounting it, and then maybe that'll help you make a decision on whether you even need recovery boards or how you're going to go about making the decision which is going to be best suited to you. However, if you are interested in the different types of recovery boards, maybe how to use them, to maybe just make a better and a more informed decision, I would recommend two videos, one by Seek Adventure and the other by Ronnie Dahl. Both of these videos are available on YouTube, and I'll just pop a link down in the description. There are tons of videos online about recovery boards, but these were just the two videos that I watched which I got the best insight and a little bit of information about recovery boards and how to make the decision for myself. So my main motivator for getting recovery boards for the Jimny was because I do a lot of traveling in the middle of the week on my own. Because of the type of work that I do, I work most weekends, and then when I get time off, it's in the middle of the week. So because I can't be relying on anyone else to help me or on more experienced drivers who have more gear, I need to be as prepared for myself to be able to get myself unstuck when I do get stuck. So my short recovery plan consists of prevention and then of recovery. For prevention, what I do is I just use a very basic tire pressure gauge, which I can also use to let the air out of my tires, just to drive with a lower PSI if I'm driving off-road or on the sand, because obviously with low tire pressure, you'll know that it's less likely that I'm going to be getting stuck. And then when I need to pump my tires back up again, I do have a compressor which I use to pump my tires up, because a lot of places I go, there's not a gas station or a fuel station nearby where I can pump the tires up. But once I do get stuck, I also have a plan to get myself unstuck. So the first thing I have is a shovel, and then I've also got the recovery boards now. So that would be like my next step. And then beyond that, if I do get stuck and I'm completely unable to get myself out, I do also have a recovery point at the front of the Jimny, along with a bow shackle as well as a snatch strap, because from watching videos I know that I have to have my own gear. So as inexperienced as I am, I do carry those items with me when I do travel. So I do know that if I'm going to be doing a lot of off-road driving or driving on the beach or in the sand dunes, it's not a case of if I'm going to get stuck, it's a case of when I'm going to get stuck. So I've spent quite a bit of time watching a lot of YouTube videos to prepare myself as much as possible on maybe which equipment I need to have, also how to use the equipment, and then also how to do a safe recovery, because I think from what I've watched, recoveries can be very dangerous. So if you're going to be using the snatch strap or a kinetic rope, it is important to just educate yourself on that, to make sure that when you do use it, you do it as safe as possible. So as I mentioned, I'm not going to be going into too many details about all the different types of recovery boards, how to use them, but I am going to say that you get a very wide price range. So if you're going to be looking at recovery boards more on the budget side, you can get recovery boards for less than 100 Australian dollars, and then you can get recovery boards that go up to $500 and maybe more. So from all the research that I did, I actually decided to go for a more budget pair of recovery boards, because I felt that they were actually sufficient for the Jimny and also for what I was going to be using them for. I guess the next question is, once you have recovery boards, where are you going to store them? Initially, I actually just chucked them inside the car, and I used up a lot of the valuable storage space which I had in the Jimny. And then eventually what I did was I did find a way to mount them on the top of the roof rack. What I discovered was that for the more premium recovery boards, there were a number of different brackets and accessories available made by the same manufacturer that you could use to mount the recovery boards in many different ways to the vehicle. But with the more budget recovery boards, which are the Dune recovery boards, which I bought, there weren't many accessories and mounting options that were specially made for these recovery boards, which gave me a lot of options. So what I ended up doing was I just bought the ARB base rack recovery track mounts, and I attached these to the dovetail on the base rack, and then I used the tread 115mm pins, which I used these to put them through the ARB recovery track mounts, and then I attached the recovery board to that. So one of my concerns were, because they're all from different manufacturers, were the pins going to be, oh, this is taking a long time to unwind, were the pins going to be long enough to go through 2 recovery boards and then to screw the nut on top, and then also be able to lock it, because it does have a option to put a lock through so that the recovery boards can't be stolen off your roof. So these are the pins that I bought. I did buy 4. I thought I might need all of them, but I have mounted them using only 2. And with the ARB recovery mounts, they come in a pack of 4, but I've only used 2 of them, so I do have 2 spare. The pins do fit quite nicely through the recovery board. It is quite a snug fit, so it doesn't slide on and off really easily, but it does fit, and it also keeps the recovery board on the roof, which is all I needed. If I were going to buy recovery boards again, I would probably go for the Maxtrax Minis, because I do like the Maxtrax accessories and the mounting options that you get, and I also think they fit quite nicely with the Jimny. The Jimny is quite small, so I think the Maxtrax Minis will probably be sufficient for the weight and the size of the Jimny. Yeah, and then maybe this video was helpful to you. If you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, definitely give it a like. And if you'd like to see more content like this in the future with the Jimny, and also a little bit of content about the outdoors in New Zealand and adventuring in New Zealand, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.